I'm going to go through using a calculator. At my school, we don't use calculators, so a problem like this would not be appropriate, but I do think students should learn how to use a calculator. Now, I realize on the AP exams, you're probably using a TI calculator. I'm using SAGE, which is a computer, excuse me, a computer algebra system. So the first thing is to reset, and you should be doing that with your TI anyway, each time you start a new problem. I'm going to define a variable t. Now, you don't have to do this on a TI, but let's type in the function now, and that function is t of x. I'm sorry, t of t. Sorry about that. And what's that equal to? Well, it's a quotient, and it's going to be 75 multiplied by t to the third power. Probably the worst thing about doing this problem is typing it in. 836 star. That's going to be t squared, and then plus 3100 star t minus 4185. Divide by 14t squared. If you haven't used a computer algebra system before, you're going to make mistakes, and you'll realize that when you're just typing things in after you hit the enter button. 10 star t. And I'll show you a variety of products, by the way. I keep doing that. Minus 35. All right, I want to look at it, and I'm going to make sure I typed it in right. 75t cubed minus 836t squared plus 3100t minus 4185. You notice I'm using stars for the multiplication, and that's absolutely required when using SAGE. So the bottom is 14t squared plus 10t minus 35. What I'm going to do is I'm going to plot it now. PLOT. And what I'm going to plot t of t. I want to get a feel for this. I know it's a rational function, and I want to keep it between 2 and 9. Let's put the plot down, and I see it. And now I'm going to go to the question, and the question is this over here. How many hours? I want to point out this is the axis for hours. How many hours did it take for the increase in temperature from 0 to 5? Well, if you look at that, the temperature here would be 0. And over here, if I look at this, the temperature would be 5. Now, granted, you might look at the graph and say, I'm going to just tell you it looks about 2 point some odd hours. That's fine. You can do that and say answer D. What I want to do is I want to use SAGE. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say find the root. Whoops. My mouse is a little bit sensitive here. Find root. And let me, it's t of t. And I want to go back to the graph for a second. I think I dismissed the graph. I'm sorry about that. I got to remember what that graph was. Let me see if the graph's still there. Not that graph. Sorry about that. It's this one over here. So I'm going to say the 5, to me, I'm going to say it looks like it's happening between 7 and 8. So let me go back to my SAGE. So I'm going to say the root of that would be, I'm going to do 5 because roots are going to be equal to 0. And I'm going to say it looks like it's between 7 and 8. All right, so I got that. It occurred at about 7.7 hours. So I want to do the same thing. And when I find the root when it hits 0, so I'm going to type in minus 0. No, you don't have to type that in. And it looks like it occurs between 5 and 6. Right, now that's, the machine's precision says about 5.4 hours. What I want to do now is just do the subtraction between the two. So this one over here minus this one over here. And this will be the amount of time it took to rise 5 degrees Celsius. Whoops, I didn't want to do that actually. It's the right number, but I want to do this over here. And what do you get? About 2.28 hours. And they got that answer right here. So the correct answer is D. Right, I'm going to do these things one at a time, by the way. And the reason for that is that I want to show you a variety of ways of doing things. Thank you.